Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm gonna start saying. I'm gonna start saying, that's your job, man, not mine. Yes, boss. Related to the blab, which time with this blab? Okay. So it's going to take about 15 minutes. This blab is to help people use blab. It's 25 minutes long. It's a fast pace with a clear goal. We want to give you the confidence to use blab. No, probably not. We're probably not going to run a real tight 25. We want to give you the confidence to use blab. We don't answer many questions from the audience. We show you how to use blab, and that's it. We ask that you hold all questions until the end, and we ask that you join the blab when there's an open seat. And Dutch Driver, I still want to talk to you. The Circadians are a concept community. Our community isn't built around individuals. We live, work, and thrive in a guru-free zone. Everybody's equal, everybody matters, and everybody has their own special gift. The sum of those gifts is greater than the individual. We create event-driven, outcome-oriented business-building platforms. For example, this is the event, is 25 minutes on how to use blab. The outcome is that we want at the end of this for you to enjoy blab. We want you to be able to go somewhere and participate in a blab, and you'll be able to do that. Nobody's going to throw bricks or anything at you if you go to a blab and you don't have everything figured out. But being able to go there and ask the questions and do the kind of stuff that you'll learn here, so that you can get an answer, it actually helps the host, and the host appreciates that, and they're more likely to engage with you and answer over there. If you got a question about the Circadians, you can send an email to youmatter@thecircadians.com. Let's see, the rules of blab. The rules are, blab doesn't really have any, but the blab team's created some agreements that they want you to go by, and that is to respect each other, honor the viewer's time, let others talk, don't be an awful person to be around, argue the point, not the person, and the host sets the rules to the party. There, I was just going to ask you to put that down there. If you'll click on that link that Ron's got there, you're going to see a couple of things. You're going to see a PDF after you give us your email address. We don't have a database that it goes into. We don't follow up. We send you a thing thanking you maybe, but when we get a chance, but we don't, follow you around and stalk you or anything. But if you go over and click on that link, you're going to have two things now. You're going to have one, which is the link to this document that we're using here, which the front of it looks like this, how to use blab. And then you're going to see a second document now, that there's a link to a second document, which is called how to host a blab. So there's both of those are in the same directory when you go over there. So you can download both of them, and you can read right along with us or look at what we're looking at too. First things first, we want to thank people like Roxanne Davenport, who we're going to be asking a really big question from today. The Circadians have a 9 o'clock clinic. The way we work, we have a 9 o'clock clinic every morning. And this morning we were discussing animated GIFs, and there's a question that we're going to be asking Roxanne about, because she is the one that can help us with that. We follow people like Mark Levy, Eileen Smith, excellent person to follow. Brian Fanzo, Robert Stern. When Robert comes in, he brings a lot of people with him, and he knows a lot about blab. And of course, Brian Kramer and Ben Brown. Getting started. Over on the left-hand side, you're going to see a little, well, now it's not a blue box, but you'll see a little thing that says "Tell a Little Bird." If you click on that bird, it's going to, if you click on that, it's going to bring up this little thing that says compose tweet. Now you can change that to put your own hashtag in there. You can change that to put something else in there, like, hey, I'm having a great time over here or whatever. And then you can post that tweet. And the difference in the changes, one of the difference in the changes is that if you look over on the left-hand side in the Twitter feed now, you only see what I've been told is that you only see your Twitter feed. But since my name is included in all of this stuff, and I'm following that hashtag, I get it every time somebody clicks. My entire Twitter feed is got everybody's stuff over there. But if you look over on the right-hand side now, you'll see a blue box that says Casa Chiesi, which Nazim finally got me to pronounce correctly. Enunciation is important. you'll see where the blue box means that he tweeted it, and you'll see where I tweeted it. So you can kind of follow along over there to see who has sent that message out.
Yeah, I want to let the people know there's an Italian pronunciation and a Southern pronunciation.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Casa Chiesi over there, but we just call it cheap cheese. So anyway, giving props. The next thing that you do is you hold if you hold your mouse over Ron's picture and click on it, you'll see right now that's what I'm doing, and you see these circles coming up. Those are called props. They what they do is say this person agrees with what you said, or or that you agree with what they say, or that kind of thing. It's just a thing to say that's a good thing. A lot of times you'll go somewhere. I'm going to say this publicly. A lot of times you go somewhere and you'll see something like this, and that person will be there for hours. I mean, for the whole thing, it'll be there 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. Just boom, 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 boom. And that's the first person I unfollow. I can tell you that right now. I don't know about anybody else, but that's the first person I go up there and look and say, I'm not following that person, am I? Because it distracts from the host. It distracts that host from what they're doing. You can if you watch it, you can see the host do that. Kind of go, what's going on there? And the next thing is your Blab profile. Your Blab profile matches your Twitter profile, but it doesn't have to. You can change it to better suit the message you want to convey on Blab. And the way that you do that has changed a little bit. But what you'll do is you'll go to, let's say Renee Horenay. I'm a social media strategist. When I roll over her image up at the top, there's a drop down that comes down with her profile and says she's a social media strategist for business. Facebook is my specialty. I especially love to work with business owners in my area. And so I would look at this and I would say, okay, the only thing I don't know is what area that is. And do I want to follow her? What I would do then is I would click on, I'd click on the little bird right in the bottom of it. And then I would go over here and say she's in Illinois. Lifting the fog on social marketing. So I would be able to go over there and look at her Twitter and see a little bit more about her. But if you go to what we're going to show you how to do, she already knows where to change that, I believe. To change that, if you click on your name when you roll over your picture, it's going to take you to your profile page. And when you go to your profile page, you're going to see a couple of things. Up on the top right-hand side, you're going to see a round image with your picture. Click on that, and there's going to be a drop-down menu that comes up. And it's going to say Start a new Blab, Profile, Settings, and Log Out. If you click on Profile, it's going to kick you out of the Blab, no matter what window you're in. Even if it's a window or a new tab, if you click on that, it'll take you out of this Blab. But click on Settings is going to bring up a page that says full name, email address, and your bio. And in the full name, you can put the name of your business. If you have a separate account for that, you could put the name of your business if you wanted to. That's what Nazim has done. And then your email address, do not change that, because that is associated with the API over at Twitter. I've not done it, but I'm fairly positive that it would. I don't want to. There is where, if I were Renee, I would put a link to my website there, which would tell them a little bit more about kind of what you do there too. For me, now that's not necessarily true for everybody, but for me, I would rather go look at your website and see more about what you do than a Twitter feed. I said that right, didn't I? Fitter tweed. That's right. Anyway, there's also a line that says image with a clickable button there. If you click on that button, you can upload an image that other than your image here. And if you want to set up a show image, which some people prefer, then you make an image that's 318 by 170. And you can put the title and you can put everything you want to. You can dress that up as much as you want to and click on that and put that there. But then your image will not show up here. You'll see the image here instead of my picture up there at the top. It would be an image of whatever I put over there. Now you can change that on the fly. That may be one thing that we do here at the when Nazim and some of you guys come in. That's one of the things that we'll probably do is I'll show you that if you make that change on the fly and refresh, it'll show up right now. She could add her, if she added her link and hit refresh, it would show up live here now. Other neat things on your profile shows the number of days you've been on Blab. So when somebody tells you that they've been there here since the beginning and they got this Blab thing figured out, go click on their profile and take a look at the 12 days they've been here. We've been here 60 or 70. We've been doing this show for probably a month and a half. And I promise you, we don't have it all figured out because they make changes on it all the time. So that's one way to kind of tell a little bit about the person you might be following. There's also, if you've hosted some Blabs, there's going to be links there that will show the replays that you have. Yes, 318 by 170. And then see, that's the thing about us old people. We look at stuff and we get distracted, but it'll show the replays that you've had. So you can upload to YouTube from there. You can turn off the replays. You can do several things over there, but you'll also see a list of your followers and the people that are following you. And you can tell if it is a mutual follow over there under the followers. You'll see if you go to the followers, if you look at your followers' profiles, you can see follow and unfollow. You can't see that, or follow and following. You can't see that from the list of the people that you're following. It's kind of like Twitter. Okay, how you can participate. Each Blab's got 4 blabbers, including the host. The host sits in the top left-hand square. The host normally, not always, but most of the time. And the host determines how many seats they're going to be open. Right now, you don't see any seats that are open underneath, but as soon as we finish the initial part of the presentation, we're going to open that up, and you'll see a join button. You just click on the join button, and you'll be able to come into the Blab and ask your question. But right now, we're going to talk about asking a question in the comment stream, which is over on the right. That's another way you can participate. If you type a & and then a space, that's all I want you to do right now. Like Nina did, you'll see question. Now, if you do that, it draws the attention to the host or to what we call a wrangler, like Ron's the wrangler in this particular Blab. It draws the attention to the wrangler to look over and say, you got a question over there you need to answer. Or if it's the host and he's operating by himself, he can look over there. There used to be a tab up at the top that said questions, and we'll cover that in just a minute. But
or if I want to make them look bad, I just don't tell them at all and let.
Yeah, that's normally the way he rocks. That's the way he operates. Is if somebody asks me what this, because he happens to know that I know that the secret to life, I know what the answer is, and he knows that, and he doesn't tells me when anybody asks me that. So I'll just tell you right now, it's 42. And thanks for all the fish. But on the right-hand side, if you want to practice by putting a Q over there, that would help me know that you know how to do that. And then the next one is rolling over your mouse over on the right-hand side. If you roll your mouse over Casacese, yeah, it is. He's got, yes, thank you, Melody. When am I coming to Italy? I have offered. I'm taking one for the team. You send me the ticket. I am on the way over there. I'll bring my wife with me too. So send 2 tickets, and I will take one for the team, man. I will come over there for you. I promise. So if you roll over, I love Italy, which is Charlotte, you'll see a little number now that's changing to 2. That means that somebody has. If you click on that star, you'll see it's up to 6 now. It keeps. It gets raised up by the number of people that like that comment or agree with that comment. A little bit to the further right of that is a little reply arrow. And that reply arrow is, if you click on that, the really neat thing about it is that once you start doing this, you'll notice how easy it is to mess up that tweet or a comment that you're going to send back to somebody. But if you catch a comment that they've done over on the right-hand side, it puts in the username or puts in their Twitter handle, their Blab handle right there, and it just makes it a whole lot easier to be able to send a message to somebody. Because Every time I try it, I don't spell very good. Now, if you are a host, there is a little X on that comment, like a more. Let's see, Bill Does Belize. He's got a comment over there that says /dark. Okay, there's an X next to it. When I hit that X, it's gone out of the comment stream over there. And the reason I picked that one out is because we're fixing to cover that, and it was his way of reminding me. All right, now put down. It's not white. Put / over on the right-hand side. If you're in the comments, if your screen is dark, which it probably is, put a front / and light, and watch what happens. Oh, it turns it white. If you put no, not white, light. I don't think white does it, actually. It's light and dark.
Yeah,
but, and now you put,
light or dark. White or black doesn't do it. Light turns white. Black turns.
Nah, dark turns dark. Dark is dark. Black. Light is light.
My tongue got in front of my eye tooth, and I couldn't see what I was.
Yeah. It happens often in here. I just got another notification I'm gonna have to look at. Please delete white. Sorry. Yeah, we'll do that. That's an example. Melody's got white in here. I'm gonna delete that one. Nina's got white in here. I'm gonna delete that. And you'll see those comments just kind of go away. Brian had it right dead on. /dark equals dark. You'll notice also. See that front / is commands. There are a lot of other commands that go along with this thing. And so what he's done, yeah, he's a ASCII text guy. But you'll see that he put it in parentheses, and that way that it doesn't look at the code. Yeah, is that what it is? Cool. So he just told you how to. I'm going to do that because I've seen that, and I thought they might be using like another way, but I'm going to do that.
And Junior Pazar says the audio is very low, and it could be on his end. I don't think anybody else is having a problem with it. Sometimes it does drop, and you might have to turn the volume up a little.
What about now? Is that better?
No, it's actually good before.
Oh, it was? Well, I just moved the microphone like to where it's supposed to be.
Well, I don't really listen to you that much anyway, so it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah. An accent. I have an accent? Really? I am surprised. I keep getting this thing about, I got a notification that Windows 10 is available to me now. So I scheduled a root canal with no painkiller today rather than doing that. Okay. So now we're going to this is question time. So we're going to open that box up so you can decide.
I got a couple more things to talk about that you missed.
I did?
Yeah. Really? Well, I know it's hard to believe.
That's why you make the big bucks, man.
It does happen from time to time. And that's what we're here for, to keep us all in the straight and narrow. Down at the bottom, it used to say,
you got to give him a minute.
Yeah, well, down at the bottom, it used to say type something cool. Now it says send a message.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no questions up at the top. I think you went over that, but that'll come back. And you'll see at the top underneath the people up there, there's a gray slide bar. Now you can kind of see who all is off the side, and you can click those 3 buttons and it'll bring them back that you can look. But kind of for the host and the co-host, it's kind of hard to do. And so that was just a couple things I wanted to mention.
I know another thing that we mentioned up across the top. You're going to see people who are in here. You're going to see some numbers up there. 36 means that's how many people have been here. The 19 means that's how many people are in here now. And then the little I button, if you click on that, it's going to bring up a list of how am I not following Brian? I thought I was already following you, Brian. So I just clicked to follow Brian. You'd be able to follow people here. Junior Pazar, I'll follow him because he had a comment over there that was pretty good. And Charlotte 60s. I actually saw you in something. Saw you somewhere maybe this morning. And I thought, who is that? Jocelyn England. I follow anybody named Jocelyn. It's just a rule I have. Josh Dand, we believe the conceptual age is here and that mastering conceptualization is the new competitive advantage. Anybody can put that many words together like that and it actually make a complete sentence? I'm all over it. Melody, speech or Coke or nutrition? Yes, I will announce something else here that we haven't talked about yet. I'm going to follow you, Melody, because about a co-host program that we have and some concepts that I have about that. Transforming and helping women pursue their creative passion. That's Pursue Create. I'm going to follow them. I can't follow myself. I can't believe that. And I would definitely do that. But if you look at the far right, you'll see a little plus sign. And that little plus sign means somebody is watching it who is not logged in from the web, who is just watching it, because people can actually watch, Blab without having a Twitter account. Images and GIFs, other ways to get involved include adding an image or animated GIF. Yes, we're going to work on that. And if you'd like to talk to us about that, okay, if you go to learnblab.com/BAM, that is a program that we're working on called Brick and Mortar Rescue. I own a bunch of retail stores and I ran a bunch of retail stores and I love helping people with that. But the co-host is learnblab.com/co-host. And that co-host is what I've been thinking about, has to do with like that fitness thing. I want to put together a show that takes about 5 minutes involving co-host that will cover 5 topics they're all F words and they're all good F words: faith, fitness, finance, fun, fungo, family, anything that has to do with an F word that can be said in public. And where did he go? I talk so much. What's his name? Word Band? How you pronounce that? I'd ask him to come back in and ask his question again. Now, I promise I'll shut up now. You come on in too. What's that guy from Italy's name? Nazim. We're going to get right to
anyway, that guy from Italy, from Casa, whatever. Come on back.
From the cheese factory. We call them cheese factories over here. We don't call them the Casa Casey. It's cheese factory. Hey, Wayne, how are you?
Hey, I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Doing great, man. You got a little bit of lag. Where are you calling from?
Thank you so much. I'm calling from Denver, Colorado area.
Denver, Colorado. And so you have a question for us?
And I don't have a headset on. Well, I came in.
Yeah, he's cutting out.
And I appreciate what you're doing here. How many of these kinds of questions have you done?
Yeah, your signal's really bad, or your connection.
Yeah, your connection is there's something up. So I'm going to tell you what you do. It's Stan at stanbush.net, and I do take calls and do stuff afterwards. So if you want to hit me up after this, I'm good with that too. And I'm going to show y'all something else. Another tip, seeing Pete while he's getting his headphones to see if that helps. Another tip that people like. If you'll notice, it looks like I'm looking down a lot during this broadcast. Well, what you do is you change your browser, like up at the top of my monitor is where my camera sits. So if I change my monitor and change the size of it and squish everything up here to the top, I can still see everybody, but it looks more engaging because it looks like I'm looking actually at you more so than it does when I do like that. So that's just a tip that seems like a lot of people like that thing.
Yeah, Brian, when you're a host and you want to change the topic, it's you no longer have to type / topic. You can go right up to the top there. There's a little pencil there, and you click on that, and that's how you change the topic.
Yeah, it used to be you could do that. I don't know if you can ever do that from the crowd.
All
right, Wayne, let's try Wayne again. Yeah, it is new. You can come in here in just a minute, by the way. Let's try Wayne again. We're going to focus. We're going to use that word.
Is this better audio?
It's still
now?
bad.
Yeah.
Wayne, we're going to have to.
Now? Okay.
Yeah, we're going to have to let you go, and we'll catch you another time.
that was kind of.
Those guys are. I've got this big heart. I'll be here till 12 o'clock at night. Can I help you with this? I'm gonna put my
Rob's like, boom.
Yeah.
Hey guys. Anyway, I had a question. This Sunday, I'm going to be doing my first blab with Betty, and we're going to be in Stan's window. You know where that window is at the top? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We recommend that I have a co-host just in case of an emergency.
We like to co-host because that's exactly why. Is because sometimes a connection happens or something, just something can happen. So if something happens and you've already made somebody a co-host, they can take it over, And
you can get back in without a problem.
I would highly recommend it.
Thanks, Brian. Okay, good. Because, we were going to bring a round of people just talking about Italy, but I might have the first person that comes in becomes an automatic host just in case.
Well, you can talk about Italy without bringing up the great state of Georgia. I don't even know how that's possible. I mean, you think people are going to show up for that?
I've been there, buddy. I've been in the great state of Georgia.
What'd you say, Brian?
I have a client in Atlanta, Georgia. I love people from Georgia.
It's close to Athens, Georgia, where my favorite group is from.
Yep. My favorite group is in Athens, even though they have been getting just tagged unmercifully in the last 2 weeks by.
Why?
You just listen. I tell you what, you don't even want just don't let me in your blab on Sunday.
You're going to kick me out. Are you going to kick me out?
No, I'm not going to kick you out. I don't ever, I'm not like, if somebody asks me about who do I block, you got to do a lot to block me. Cause I'm just not that. If I make a decision about blocking somebody, it's usually because they come in and they do something that's just completely crazy. Like they come in, you look at it and go, okay. No, I don't think so. And then I'll kick them out. But if it's just somebody comes in, I don't agree with, wow, there's a lot of people I don't agree with, and there's a lot of people that don't agree with me. So I'll stay there for that. You're
bringing up another good question. On my first blab event, if somebody comes in and I want to block them, what do I need to do to block them?
I actually hosted a blab last night, and one of the guys that really gives me a lot of support on that was Jay. And basically, when you're doing an interview format, lock out your two bottom seats first, so that you can do your interview, and then you can open up that other seat for questions. And I usually just keep one of those open and lock the third one, and then open the fourth one a little later on. So it gives a nice flow to and you can control. The thing about this too is what would be really good for Blab to do is to have sort of a pre-visual of being able to see that person before you actually let them in, because there is some spam crap happening. There are some people that are.
I always get everybody saying, I ain't gonna let that Kazakezi guy. There's no photo of that.
Something that you have to be careful about, and this is a really important recommendation, is not to use your brand in Blab. So
I know,
but Chelsea doesn't help people know.
I know, but it's me and my wife. I can't. It's
yeah. I'm gonna answer a question over here, and then I'm gonna do something else, and I'm gonna help you out with that, Nazim. Is that if you block them, they can still go to other blabs. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, Ron, this is a good demonstration. Ron, you can turn Brian into a co-host because a co-host has all the powers that a host has, except they can't kick the host. And I'm going to make you a co-host, Nazim.
Okay, cool.
And the way that you do that,
so I can feel the hosting environment.
Yep. And you just got a message that said, Stan is the omnipotent ruler of all he surveys. Is that what you saw?
Ryan, did you get the message?
And I also read, keep the blab alive because he's sure boring.
You'll have to refresh, Brian, in order to change to become a co-host.
Okay. Oh, it's not important for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me tell you, Wayne. It says I did get into the screen, and I will get off it now. Thanks again. Okay.
There you go.
And then somebody else tried to come in just then. There's a lot going on right now because we got like 3 co-hosts. Who kicked Nazim?
No, I kicked myself out because I understood that I had to do a refresh to be the host.
Well, no, you don't have to do a refresh. That's the only way the H shows up, though. If you look at the top, like Brian's got a G, right?
Right.
Down there for me or over there, something like that.
Well, now everybody's a host.
We're all hosts now.
We're all hosts now, except for I'm still the big man on the campus.
He's the master.
So I can kick all of y'all out.
We're gonna end that real quick.
Knock him out.
Oh yeah, how'd that feel, big boy?
So Melody had a question about the branding, and look, I'll be honest with you. It's a major mistake on Twitter to use your brand as your Twitter account. It's really important that you put a face to whatever it is you're doing. And
I know. You're right, Brian.
I'll be honest with you. I will never follow any brand on Twitter. If you try to friend me on Twitter and follow me, if I don't have a face behind it, oh boy. I'll call them back.
I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to say something else about that.
I've had this
because we can get into a long discussion about this. And I'm going to tell. There's two things I'm going to say. We have a blab at 4:00, which the guy over there, I get to wrangle
other
him
way
at 4:00.
Point the other way.
It's over there.
Yeah.
Bass backwards. Over there, that guy has one at 4:00 called 25 Minutes on How to Use Blab, No Blab, or How to Host Blab, No Blabbus Interruptus. And that one's at 4:00, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you need to do that if you want to know more about the hosting stuff, because it'll be just like this, the basic hosting thing. But Brian, I think I'm going to say this is that I wouldn't say never use your brand, but I agree with you 100%. I don't follow brands unless I know them. I mean, I knew who Nazim was when he came in. I was like, I know Nazim so I'm going to follow him because I want to know what he's doing with his brand and how he's doing that.
Yeah.
But I think that it's determined by what your strategy is for that brand. You know, if your strategy
I agree that my attitude is I have several Twitter accounts. So I have a branded account and I have a personal account. And I think it's really important that if you're going to have personal conversations like we're having right now, I'll tell you right now, it gets very confusing when you're on Blab and you don't know that person's name and it's got some strange brand in it. You can't be personable with that. You know, I wouldn't know. I've met Nazim before, so I know that he's a boat architect and he builds. You know, that's what he does. He's got a really amazing job. But I met him before, and I wouldn't have known that if we were just meeting today. I would go unless you told me what his name was. I had no clue, right? So it makes it very impersonable in the Blab space.
No, I totally agree with you on that, Brian. But then. My thing is, because I've had this before on Google Plus and Martin, we've had this discussions back and forth, because it's really not a business. Our Kazakezi is a site we talk about our love for Italy, and it's me and my wife together. So how do you do that? Do you basically put two small little pictures of us together? And our case is a difficult.
I'm going to do something. First of all, hey, Wendy. And second of all, I'm a huge believer that open forum process.
Hey, Wendy.
Yeah. And that's great. You know, Nazim posts the link and then says, "Can I post the link?" That's when I saw it afterwards. I didn't see it.
Sorry about that. Call me trigger happy.
Yeah, that's cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to
take it out.
I think there's a solution for this, okay? And I'm going to try to see if I can show you what it is by doing what I'm fixing to do. So you're going to see me kind of disappear for a minute, but I hope that it won't close the blab out. Actually, Nazim, this is going to be, or Brian, here's the concept, and tell me who wants to try this. We're talking about branding. We're talking about somebody looking at a show, because when they're looking at a show, they may not know Kazakezi when they see Nazim. They may not associate with that, right? Or Coca-Cola. They go, I don't know who that guy is. So the question is about branding. So here's what I think I'm almost positive you can do. And whoever wants to try this is fine. Right now, Brian, you've got your image up there, right? Now, the way that the show image in the scheduled shows, the way it shows up is the image of whoever posted it, or the image of that person, or the image of the account that posted, right? So theoretically, if you have an image that you want to post for a particular blab,
yes,
and you want it branded,
yes,
you can put that there, right?
Yes, you can.
But I know for a fact that you can change your bio and your image in the show. So my question is that if you did that, so that and you were running, let's say in his Casa Chiesi account, he used Casa Chiesi, but then when the show started, he goes over and changed the picture. Then
that's what I want to do. That's exactly.
So why don't you try doing that right now? Go take Casa Chiesi and change it to your image, and then come back in here and see if it works. And by the way, since you are a co-host, nobody's going to have to give you permission to come back in. You just come back in and click join, and you're in.
I think the other thing that you can do too, if I'm not mistaken, is you can have a different name for your actual name, and your handle can be your brand.
But that's only for Blab, correct? Yeah.
That's only for Blab. See what we actually, one of the things we do in Circadians is we have in this co-hosting program beta thing we do is we experiment with that, and we've done that with, we have an account called the Circadians, and we used to, for about a month, we created the Circadian account. We created everything under the Circadian account, like Nazim, you normally see him cruising around with Casa Chiesi, right? Or Cheese Factory. So, or Velveeta, whatever it is, it's something like that. Cheese Whiz, that's what we call it, Cheese Whiz. And so anyway, that way, anybody, if something happened to a person on that team that was supposed to run that account that day, that person could, log into that account because they have access to that account and go ahead and run that blab anyway. And so that is a solution for a team to use an account that's separate from that. But the problem was you didn't have, when they never followed, they don't follow brands, right? Because that up there at the top would have the brand image like Nazim's got. Nazim pays everybody $1, just so in case you don't know, the way he got his followers is you just click on him and then you go follow him, and he's got somebody that watches all that stuff and sends you $1.
If not, I invite them over for dinner here in Milan, like Mia when she came over.
The best one I saw was last night. A friend of mine put his personal PayPal account on with /25, and someone actually sent him $25. I couldn't.
If you guys don't know what he's talking about, I'm going to do that for you here.
He's got one made up already. He's going to put one
hilarious.
In. Yeah. The other thing I want to mention, Stan, we are
way past our
the time guy.
Yeah.
I actually put one in there for $50,000 the other day, and one of the things it's like, I kept telling them, go ahead, click on that one,
exactly.
But make sure you finish the whole deal, and then you'll know how that works, because he kept saying, how does that work?
Stan, did you talk briefly, and I know this is still talking a little bit about the hosting aspect of this, is that using a secondary account in to have on a separate computer, and using ManyCam to do shared screen presentations to help people with agendas, because I find that it's more difficult to have like all kinds of different shared screens. It's a little bit cumbersome and awkward, but if you're going to just present a simple agenda of what you're going to talk about your topics, I think that's a really, really clean way of doing it.
Well, okay, so that is a hosting thing, and one of the things you'll find out that we really kind of believe in is delivering on the promise, right? And this one says 25 minutes on how to use Blab.
Okay.
And the one that we do at 4:00 is 25 minutes on how to host Blab, and it also says no Blabbus Interruptus, which that's why they don't let me talk very much. Right? I just, is there a rabbit around here? Sure, I'll go. It did change that image up there.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So we know that works now. So you can put an image of yourself up there.
But what I was more interested in, and this is where, when you guys were talking about the 318, but I was more interested in on the Blab, when you have the schedule, how that one there, that area there, you can't change that image.
Let me get back to that. And we'll finish the thing.
I got one. Go ahead. I got one thing to say, Brian. Chef Dennis just mentioned you don't need ManyCam. You can just point your camera at another computer. We do it on my cooking show. Yeah. If you watch Chef Dennis on his cooking show, he has the one square up there where it's overhead on what he's cooking, and then the other one on him. He does a great job, and I'm sure if you contacted him, he'd be happy to help you out. In fact, I'm going to be contacting him sometime soon.
Well, you
get his
need a
help.
lot of cameras.
2 questions over here. 1, yes, you can do that with PayPal. Just go over and sign up for it. Another thing, could you put a Google Docs link to the agenda as long as it is shared publicly? And then Chef Dennis, you guys need to follow him and watch his show. And then it looks like everybody's getting out because they know that I'll just keep on.
It's
right?
time.
Okay. Well, listen, until tomorrow,
Up till 4 o'clock.
at 4:00, we'll be there then. Oh, review.
Oh, yes.
We ask that you go here. I'm doing this because my Wrangler didn't.
Yeah, well, you beat me to it.
Yeah, okay. Is that what you're going with? Wait a minute, is it review
Well,
or reviews?
It worked before.
No, that one don't work. Mine doesn't work. I'm going to.
Mine worked. There it is. Try it.
Well, it was a test, and I failed it. So anyway, if you want to give us a review, we prefer 5 stars over 1 stars. But if you want to give us whatever you want to give us, because we really want to know, get feedback, genuine feedback. We are authentic as you can get. We believe that if you don't like us, just tell us. And that doesn't mean we'll change, but we'll at least listen to it. And by the way, one of the things about being a host is that you can just do like that, and I don't have to listen to him anymore.